So what do you control? What are the things as a salesperson, as a manager, as a leader, that you do control? Well, in sports, we talk about it, and we've translated this to coaching people in business and other areas. We really think about it as your APE. A for your attitude, P for your preparation, and E for your effort. Simply that. So your attitude. Do I really go into the sales, to every call, with the assumption that I can really get someone to evaluate this product? Do I have that mentality? Even when people are being negative on the phone or avoiding me or not really engaging, do I just have that mentality about how I talk to people? The idea of preparation. And ask yourself this, really. Think about this. What are you doing every day to condition your brain? Raise your hand if you went to the gym in the past month. Okay? Keep your hand up. Keep your hand up if you've done something to condition your mentality. Right? Do something to, right? So a lot of hands go down. Some went up, which is awesome. So we're thinking about what are you doing to condition your brain? What are you doing every day to get in the right mind frame, right? To be able to perform? What are you doing to awaken your mind and to boost your own confidence? What are you doing to get more present and in the moment? And then the last thing is this idea of effort. Am I really bringing everything every day? How do I know? And do I know my goals? Is my goal to just sell 7 licenses? That's not good enough in terms of performance. I need to know what that connects to in my behavior every single day. What's going to lead to that? Does it mean that I'm going to get up earlier, sleep more? Does it mean that I'm going to do mindfulness? Does it mean that I'm going to force myself to think about the bottom of my list and call all those people even more than the ones that are easier to call? What is it? What does it mean? What does making 5% better effort mean for you? And write it down. Be specific. Write it down. What is that thing? Look at it every day. The chances of you doing it, of you articulating it, and then you writing it down, make it more likely that you're going to actually do it. So an example of this is we put a sign in the New York Giants locker room, and this was the sign. Control what you control, play the next play, and stay in the moment. Still, though, I would call these what goals. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to stay in the moment. I'm trying to focus on the next sales call. Right? I'm really trying to play the next play. In other words, I got to know, I'm trying to move on to the yes. However, athletes develop really sophisticated skills and methods of doing this. And the most common method that athletes use to be at their best every day is to develop a physical and mental routine. They do things every day to get their mentality ready. So what's an example of a really excellent routine? Check out this routine from the race car world. How long does it take to change a race car tire? Just throw out your guess. 8 seconds. I have 4 seconds. Check it out. Here we go. So those of you that said 3 seconds were right. 3 seconds. And if you think about what happened there, it was so well practiced. It was such a work of art. Everybody knew where they had to be and when. So think about what you're doing to prepare for your calls. Are you actually going through what you're going to say? Do you do it in front of the mirror? Do you tape yourself and listen to yourself and say, you know what? I didn't sound exactly right. I'm going to review it. Over the years, I've gotten the best advice from really looking at my own tapes and criticizing myself about what I could do to be a better speaker, a better coach. So what can you do a little bit better to improve your routine? I want to share with you a few routines that I've worked with people and that I've learned about. One of them is in my work in firefighting. So I've had the benefit of working with the largest firefighting force in the world in New York City, 11,000 firefighters. And here I am when I actually signed up to work with those guys. They said, okay, day 1 of training, I'm thinking they're going to have a manual. They're like, no, Fader, you're going to suit up. They suit me up in this thing, and the guy looked at my face, and he was like, just one thing. I'm thinking he's going to give me some technical advice. He's like, do not poop in my gear. And, he was actually not that far off. It was super scary. And in the training that I had, I really was witnessed of already how deep the mental routines of these firefighters were. One of the things that they work on a lot is staying motivated. Staying motivated. It's unbelievably brutal. to be a firefighter and to be pulling those hoses, running up the stairs. 90% of the calls that you go to are nothing, and the 10% are absolutely gruesome and horrifying, right? So what I really learned is that they work on this idea of motivation and building motivation into their routine. This is the sign that's in the training center of the Rock in New York City. Let no man's ghost come back, or woman's ghost, I would add, and say, my training let me down. It's super motivating. If you know that you make a mistake, you're not bringing your all every day, people will die. But in our lives, really, it moves back from that, right? Because no one's going to die if we don't sell enough, well, hopefully. So our job, I don't know how the company norms are, but basically my understanding is that no one dies if you don't sell enough. So really the idea here is when you move back from that, what can you do to stay motivated? Jason Bresler, who I've worked with in FDNY, carries around a piece of 9/11. And I don't mean like a note. He actually carries a piece of 9/11 glass around in his pocket wherever he goes. And when he was a Marine, he did two tours in Fallujah and Afghanistan, he would take out that 9/11 glass, and he would pass it around to all the troops, and he would say a prayer. He would say a prayer that helped them to be centered and focus on why they were doing it. So to know why you're doing it, is really profound. It really changes to know your core motivation and to have that motivation visible.